Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Josh Monday Christian and Conspiracy Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Monday. If you don't know me, I'm a Christian rapper, devoted husband, father, and I'm an Army veteran. And I have a very special show for you today. Returning guest, Norbert Heuser, is going to be coming on. And this is kind of part two to our show, but we're going to call this one different. It's going to be called Everything You Need to Know About Water. Norbert, how you doing today?
Good morning to you. I'm happy and I'm thankful to be together with you again. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, I'm very happy too. And hopefully in the future we'll do another show. I have a good time when I talk to you. Definitely enjoyable.
That's nice of you. Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we had the caffeine and coffee show, which is cool. And then the last time we did kind of like a reverse osmosis show. So this time Norbert's gonna have a very intense show for us today. He said this is gonna be the best show that he's done. So I'm very excited and happy and ready for this. So whenever you're ready to start, Norbert, you can share screen and let's get into it.
Cool. Let's start with something basic, talking about the importance of water. Um, People underestimate a few things, which I point out at the beginning as an introduction. Um, you see, the most important part in health, we all talk about health because the world is so sick like never before. There's so many health issues. It's incredible. It's a never-ending story. It's getting worse by the day, to my opinion and observation. What's the most important in health, to my definition? I'm not a medical doctor. I cannot give you medical advice. All I'm saying today is my personal opinion and experience. So the first and most basic thing in health is your mental condition. Your mental condition, whether you are stable, you understand that you are a spiritual being and you have to be happy in your life and what you're doing and what you stand for. So the mental condition is most important. People underestimate that. They say, "Oh, I'm eating healthy food." Well, that's fine. That's nothing wrong with that. But if at the same time you're in a battle with your wife or with your family or with the work, with the job, you're frustrated about your life, that doesn't really help. So the mental condition is the first one we have to look at. In the physical universe, the most important ingredient in your physical universe for health is oxygen. Oxygen has the biggest priority. You can survive quite a while without water and food, but not without oxygen. So that's most important. A lot of people don't watch out how healthy their oxygen is, how clean the air they breathe in their house or in the environment and where they live, where they have an influence on it. But you have an influence at least in your house and where you live and sometimes where you work, depending on the job. So oxygen. Now, the second most important in the physical universe, most people will answer it's food. For me, it's not food. The second most important in the physical universe, to my opinion, is water. Water has a bigger importance than food. I'm not saying food is not important. We're not saying water is more important. And then thirdly comes the food. Thirdly is the food, and then other things down the chain. Um, we have big problems that we have adverse effects through poisoning. Most of us are not sick in the common sense, what we think is sick. Most of us are poisoned. For me, topics like cancer, like Parkinson, like dementia, is, to my opinion, in most cases, a consequence of poisoning we have, whether it's plastic, whether it's toxic components. And nowadays we're talking more and more about microplastics. Microplastics is just like a crazy thing going on in our universe. So, and this is consequently my definition of health: body and mind in harmony. Body and mind in harmony. Most people, when they think about health, they think about their body only, but it's the balance between your body and your mind that they are in a good balance. Okay, good. You can eat the most healthy food you want. As long as you drink bad water, you kill your digestive system and your body's health. Don't spend loads of money for food and be cut short on the quality of water. I can only beg you to reconsider your position. For example, the DNA, the building blocks of our life, communicate with each other through water by emitting low frequency electromagnetic waves. We have more electricity in our body than people know. Without electricity, our heart and our brain and functions in our body couldn't work. Now, as babies, we have about 90% of our body is water. As an adult, it's about 80%. And a senior, it goes down to 70%. The older we become, the less water we carry. Now, it's important to understand that, for example, your fine lines and wrinkles you have on your face, for example, where especially women are very conscious about, it's not a question of age, it's primarily a question of lack of moisture in your lower dermis in the skin. And we always talk about the fountain of youth, right? Well, the fountain of youth already says it's water. Okay. It already says fountain of youth, it's water. Okay, good. Now we have to reconsider our life, and we have to understand that our life depends on many factors. So today we concentrate on water, and the question is, who controls the water? Now, less and less the government controls water. More and more private companies control water, which we will talk about in a second. And I have some quotes, some sources of information from this wonderful German language written book by this lady Marion Schimmelpfennig. And she wrote a book in German language, The Mineral Water and Beverage Mafia. Mm-hmm. The Mineral Water and Beverage Mafia. Unfortunately, so far, it has never been translated into into English, which is a pity, because you would find out so many things worth knowing. Maybe on this show, there's some editor, some publisher who would take the book, translate it into English, and run with it. It's very worth it. So who controls the water? Government entities, less and less. More and more, a very few main private companies, among others, Coca-Cola, Danone, Nestle, Unilever. These are the major food companies. And what they do is, what happened in the past was they bought out a lot of small water companies. And you see in the shelf still the name of these smaller, some of them, water companies. But if you turn around and look at the label on the backside, you see who owns the company. And some companies, small, good companies who used to have good water, they vanished. Overnight, they left the market. But the big companies want to keep the names if possible to get shelf space. So you see 10 different water bottles in the shelf, which are shared by 2 or 3 companies, or more than 10. Coca-Cola, for example, has about 130 brands of beverages. We know only Coca-Cola, but have about 130. So they have taken over the water market, and the way they did it, they bought them out. Okay, good. Or they bought the water rights. They bought the rights of water in different places in the world, not only America, Canada, in Africa. They bought them out everywhere. They bought water rights so they can pump the water from the ground. And like in Africa, we have situations that the farmers have a problem to get enough water for their farm or for the animals because the level of the groundwater sank so low because they pumped up so much water that there's a scarcity of water. and then the African people are welcome to go to the next food store, supermarket, and buy their water in plastic bottles. Of course, for several times the price, it's worth it, right? Now,
That's terrible.
there is a guy from the Nestle company, and the Nestle company had over the times various presidents and managers, and one of these guys, they made a statement which later bit him in the butt. What he says here. He says, this is a guy called Helmut Maucher. He was the CEO of Nestle, the world's largest food company based in Switzerland. He's saying water is getting scarcer worldwide. That's why we want to control the sources. Basically, what he's saying is we're looking to have a monopoly. We want to control the water wherever we can find it, where we can get our hands on it. And they do it in a very intense way. And one of his colleagues, CEO from Nestle, said, water is, of course, the most important raw material we still have in the world today, is the most important raw material we still have in the world today. It's a question of whether we privatize the normal water supply of the population or not. And he continues to say, I personally believe it is better to give food a value so that we're all aware that it costs something. So he's saying we must put a price to water. Water shouldn't be free because people will appreciate it and pay for it. And he knows that a lot of people don't have access to water. And he says there are various possibilities, whatever he means with various possibilities. All right. That's our good friend from Nestle. And the other day when I was at the traffic light, I couldn't help myself. There was a truck, and this truck made me stop and make a photo.
Good food, good life.
So in this book I just quoted, this lady quotes an information which may be very astonishing. I'm not sure what the actual very situation is this time, but when she wrote the book, it said that Nestle has the rights to pump water in California, and they're pumping 100 million liters, let's say in gallons. They pump 26 million gallons a year. 26 million gallons a year, okay?
Yep.
And you have an idea how much they pay for that?
Do I? Off the top of my head, hold on. Let's see if I could do something. Hold on, 26 million.
Google it.
26 million. Do you want me to guess or you just
No, yeah, guess what do you think?
So that's gonna be 26. I would have to break it. I'd have to do the math equation on it, and break it down into like units. 26 million gallons of water. Let's
How much do they pay for the rights?
Divided by. Oh, how much do they pay for the rights? I don't know. Go ahead. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. I'd do the math, but I'm on the spot.
Okay. $700 a year.
$700 a year for 26 million gallons, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So that's crazy. Yeah. So if I did the math on what actual unit would be and all that stuff, it'd be a lot more than that. So they're getting a crazy deal on it.
So he quotes in the book as well a right they bought in the City of Hope in Canada for 265 million liters, means 70 million gallons of water. 70 million gallons of water. Of course, they pay more therefore, right? They pay $800.
It's crazy.
So it is crazy. All right. So I wanted to cover a bit the background about water, the control, the pricing, the regulations, and to make people understand it's a very delicate subject. It's a very delicate subject. Then let's move over to the third part of today, from the minutes we have. It's water and energy. Water and energy. Our body lives on the fact that our cells create energy. Our cells create energy. Not the steak which you eat creates the energy, but parts of that steak, the nutrition which ends up in the cells. To deliver energy, the cells need nutrition, minerals, vitamins, trace elements, oxygen, and especially water, but healthy water. And that's the crux. Now, when we say, let's say our body has 80% water, where does that water sit in our body?
Where does it sit?
Hmm.
Well, some of it in your stomach because it actually goes in, and then I think it would just go through your blood, I guess, your bloodstream or something, or
Yeah. Of course, an our bladder is water.
yeah,
Of course, 90% of the blood is water.
yeah.
Um, we know that. But the majority of water sits in our 100 trillion cells.
Yeah.
That's where the majority of water in our body sits. And the problem is the quality of the water. So the energy, to create the energy, the cells need that healthy water. And I'm talking about healthy water. The cells produce the energy for us to live. We could not exist without the work of the cells. The cells are, so to speak, I call them the power plants of our body, who gives life and makes us go on and on and on and on and on. As we go along now, you'll find out how much of a problem that creates if the water is not right. Which brings me to the next point, number 4, hydration. Hydration. And I go mad when I see out there what they sell in the stores and advertising commercials about water which hydrates you, or drinks, energy drinks, and so on, right? People have no idea about the hydration. They think if they drink anything, even soda pops, whatever, it's liquid, so it hydrates them. I think that's I'm trying to be careful what I say here, but it's the biggest scam there is.
Yeah.
Okay. The
And
biggest scam there is.
yeah, and then they kind of like even like football teams and stuff like that. Like when you play football in high school, then they have Gatorade, right? And when you play baseball in Little League, like they give you Gatorade. Like that was the thing. I don't know how it is now, but back when I was growing up, it was like that. So they would
Same,
advertise Gatorade, and it's the same. Yeah, it's
same.
terrible. Bunch
My
like 30 grams of sugar in it, and
my
it was
kids
just
play in a
opposite.
my kids play in a basketball team, and they have our water from our house, which is most likely the best water you can have in America. And they cannot drink anything else. And then in between in the games, some mother of some basketball player colleague comes up and pushes them for Gatorade or so, right? Here, you got to hydrate yourself, right? My boys always go, no, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They already know.
So when I give seminars, um, I ask people to bring to the seminar the water they drink at home, a sample in a bottle, and I test them and make them understand what happens and what does not happen. And I tested whether they are hydrated or dehydrated with kinesiology muscle testing. It's very easy. In a split second, you can test somebody is hydrated or not hydrated. So when they find out that they are dehydrated, um, it cannot be. I just drank this morning 1 liter, whatever, yeah, I just drank it. I said, yeah, you drank something, but what you drank was not healthy. And because it was not healthy, you're still dehydrated, sorry, you're still dehydrated, regardless how much you drink. If it's the wrong product, the wrong water, you stay dehydrated. So it's the lack of the quality of water. We all been trained and taught we should drink like 2-3 liters a day, which is like 2/3 of a gallon a day, which is correct, depending again on the climate where you live and so on, the work you do, work in a coal mine or sit in an office. But basically, let's say 2-3 liters a day is the right amount. But that amount does not count if the quality is not right. You stay dehydrated as long as the quality of the water is not right. So what I do in my seminars, which I cannot do here on our show, I'll give people a test. So I'll test them and they're dehydrated. And then I'll take my water and with 1 drop of my water, I hydrate them. I'll talk later about that, how I do that. 1 drop of my water hydrates them. The cells do not accept bad water. You cannot drink beer, coffee, or sodas. They're based on water. Yes, sure. But this is not what the cells need to create energy. They need pure quality water. Then if you have the right quality water, then comes in the amount of water, which is secondary. And the secondary part is the 2-3 liters a day if the quality is right. Now, we on our planet, let's talk about 50,000 years of mankind on the planet, whatever the number is, I don't care. On our planet, for the last 49,800 years, so today minus 200 years, we used to drink the natural pristine water, which is the true spring water. Unfortunately, the expression spring water has been totally abused. You see on all kinds of bottles and water bottles, spring water, spring water, spring water. Yeah, it may have been originally spring water, but what has been done after to it? So we drank from the rivers, from spas, from wells, the original pristine water, which we will learn today. Why is it so healthy, the spring water, the original one? If it's the original spring water, it has the highest level of energy and of quality you can imagine. But who of us today has a chance to drink that quality water? Unless you have a true spring up somewhere in a nice mountain, some country area, you have a chance. But then again, let me give you this piece of information quick. I meet people, they said at my seminar, oh, I don't need that. I'm fine. I have my own well, okay, in the back of my house. Now, if you have your own water well, it does not mean that that water is healthy.
No, you're right.
You have to test it with some 200 parameters or so by a water lab at least once a year to make sure it is healthy. And a lot of these water tests are catastrophic. What comes out of it, of that water. And they believe, look, it's healthy because it's from my own well. Please, if you have your own well, that's cool. But you must test it with a lab once a year, maybe even twice. Why? Because when you dive into the water well in your groundwater, over time, this water stream, under earth stream, changes direction. Or people 30 miles up the river, so to speak, in which you dive in, are dumping in a chemical factory all kinds of stuff, which you then collect in your well water. So keep in mind as well that you yourself, most likely, you cook with unhealthy water. If you go to restaurants, they all cook with unhealthy water. All means the majority. And even if you have organic food restaurants and so on, yeah, organic food is great. But then if you cook it in bad water, which you will learn today, bad water, what's the sense? What use that is? So it doesn't make. Does it make sense, Josh, what I'm saying?
Yes, it does. It does.
You?
And yeah, it does for sure. And some of the things that he's like that you could find in the water would be like VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds. That's some stuff that you would find that people probably have never even heard of. Triachloroethylene, benzene. Those are kind of just a few of them, and then byproducts of chlorine. Disinfects when it disinfects the water. So we have that, and then we have also like perchlorate, nitrates, chlorides. They're formed because like when they treat the water, that's what happens when you treat perchlorate. It becomes like a chloride, right? Like a non-harmful chloride. But they have to test for chlorides now after that because then it can have too many chlorides that come out. And there's a lot of things that they're going to be testing for. It's not just for whether you're going to get sick from it or not, like right away. There's things that you could drink that's going to cause you problems later on that could cause cancers and certain things in the future. But he's also talking about whether the water you're drinking is immediately giving you hydration or the water is just going to be like he said is going to be taking away from your vitamins and minerals of your body because a lot of the stuff that's filtered is not gonna have those minerals that you need, which we talked about on the last show with reverse osmosis. So it's there's things that are going to cause problems, and then one of the main ones is going to be right now that people are concerned with a lot of the water companies is PFAS, and that's going to be stuff that comes from your soap, your laundry detergent, and deodorants, anything that has that fragrance, right? And the crazy thing about it is, and shampoo and conditioners. And the crazy thing about this is, I mean, there's definitely a conspiracy behind this because you're putting conditioner on your head and you're putting body soap on your whole body, and now you got PFAS all over your whole body and your head, and that's the biggest organ in your body is that. So I know we're speaking of water only right now, but what's happening with that stuff is it's actually getting into our water stream, and now all the water companies are kind of testing for this now. It's called PFAS if you guys want to look it up, and that's an important one. If you find PFAS in your water, they actually tested in parts per trillion. So like if you put like one drop of this in like a not even Olympic size pool, that's one part per billion. But it's like I mean probably like 10 Olympics size swimming pools. Just one drop of this is what they're testing for parts per trillion. So it's very important. So Norbert is on track definitely when he's talking about this stuff. He knows a lot about this subject.
Well, what a lot of people don't understand is, when you use your detergents and all your chemicals in your household, it ends up in the water, same as your poo and your pee. It ends up in the water, and this water is going to be shipped to the water management of your city. And in many cases, the city has the water management to try to clean the water. I'm saying try to clean the water and gives that water back to you. All right. And we'll talk soon about what it does, the effects of it.
Toilet to the tap. Are you talking about that? They have
So,
that. A
which
toilet to the
brings us,
tap. Yeah.
which brings us to our next point I want to talk about. Here are my parameters of truly healthy water. These are my parameters, which we go now through one by one, because I would like you at the end to be in the position that you can say what is truly healthy water. Okay, we will be talking now about first what is called hexagonal structure, fine clustered. We go into this, I will explain. Then we'll talk about free of negative information. We talk about rich in minerals, pH 7 to 8, high electrical charge, maximum clean, and at the end of the scale, descaling. Not that important, but okay. So now you see that I made a big kind of break line after number 1 and number 2. And that's a very simple reason for me. These are the two most important parts for me for your quality water. So if somebody offers me water or water filtering system, whatever, first thing I check, does it have a hexagonal structure? Is it free of negative information? You will know soon here when I tell you what negative information means. it doesn't have those two. These are not covered with water. Frankly, I don't care the quality of the water. I don't care at all because the two most important parts are not covered, which brings us then now to the first parameter, how to judge healthy water, which is the hexagonal structure or fine clustered. That's a theme which I know a lot of people never heard about. And okay, but you should hear about it in order to understand water. And there is a gentleman in, he's unfortunately he's dead now. I couldn't meet him before he died. I wish I would have had to. This gentleman's name is Dr. Masaru Emoto. Dr. Masaru Emoto from Japan, who became quite popular around the world, giving seminars and workshops and so on. And Dr. Masaru Emoto found out what we now explain as the hexagonal structure. And I can highly recommend for you to buy these two booklets, Messages from Water and the Universe, The Hidden Messages of Water. If you buy these two booklets and read them, your understanding about water in this world will totally change. I mean, totally change. I highly encourage you to read those books.
I have those two books now because Norbert was nice enough to send me those. So I'm going to be reading them because it'll help me in the water industry, so in
Yes.
in what I'm in. So
Yes,
yes.
it will change your mind, I promise you. It will change your point of view. Okay. And I'm touching now the basics of this now as we go along. We're talking now about hexagonal structure. So Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Christian Japanese gentleman doctor, he discovered that healthy water has what's called a hexagonal structure. What means a hexagonal structure? Now, a hexagonal structure, like you remember sometimes when we were kids and on the windows at winter time, depending on where you lived, you had these snow crystals on the window pane, right? And they looked like beautiful crystals, right? All right. So he developed the technology that he would take water, just a drop, freeze it in a special fridge, more like a room, freeze it, and then shoot a photo of that crystal. In the book, he explains all that, and he shows many, many examples. And he shot a photo of the crystal, of that water drop. And he could just tell by looking at the picture, this is healthy water or not. And this has what is called a fine cluster, because the fine clustered water is, the more easy the cells can accept and work with the water, okay? So let me show you here what a typical fine cluster looks like. Now, what you see here is not jewelry. It's not a piece of art. It is, in fact, a photo of a water drop. And I'm amazed by nature. If we go into distance of our TVs and look at nature, we'll find a lot of incredible information and beauty out there. So this is a water crystal. And it's called hexagonal because it has 2, 4, 6 edges, corners, spikes. Hexagonal from Greek, hex means 6. Okay. And if that water shows this, then you know you're in for good. All right. So only healthy water forms this beautiful hexagonal structure, which we had for 50,000 years on our planet. All our water, which I call pristine water, had this structure. The way we live, the way we manage water, the reuse it, and so on, it kills the hexagonal structure. High energy drinking water, true spring water, water from deep wells which are untouched and unspoiled. All these pristine streams all have this ideal hexagonal structure. The smaller the is of the structure of the cluster, the easier the water will penetrate the cells. And you can measure that size of the cluster with what is called nuclear magnetic resonance technology. With nuclear magnetic resonance technology, you can measure the size of the cluster. And the lower this value is, the smaller size is the cluster. And this is the first step of healthy water for me. And we can have that healthy water again nowadays, which I explain, which is my target. One of my targets in life and in health is to create healthy water. Now, when I was taught to drink 2 liters water a day, 3 liters, frankly, I tried. And after 1.5 liter, I was fed up. I didn't want to touch the water anymore. I said, no, oh, not no more. I can't see it anymore, right? And I later found out why. Because I was bloated with the water. The water ended up in the stomach and was sitting there, and you didn't want to add anything else. And then I found out if the water is healthy, you can drink easily 2-3 liters a day and you enjoy it, because here's what happens. As soon as the right water enters your body, it's immediately absorbed by the 10 trillion cells in you. So it doesn't sit in your stomach. It's absorbed. And when we later talk about my quality of water, you can test it easily. If you have the right water, you drink 2-3 glasses in a row, and you feel great. You feel not bloated. You feel not overloaded, right?
I felt bloated for sure drinking water because I work out in the mornings and I know that feeling that you're talking about.
You
I'm
know,
gonna become a okay, so I got the system that you got, which you'll probably talk about in the end, but I actually have it. So I'm gonna be installing it today and I'm gonna be a test subject.
I need guinea pigs. Thank you for being my guinea
I'll
pig.
be your guinea pig. I'll be your huckleberry. Let's go.
So Dr. Masaru made some nice tests, okay? He tested everything. Holy water from a holy place, in cities, in rivers, and so on. And here is the water from the city London, Paris, when he was traveling in those places. Now, please remember what the crystal just looked like. I showed you, right? You see anything of that
Hexagon.
in that water? No, it's like complete junk. It's complete junk water. It has nothing to do with the water and the common sense. And here is a test I did with my water products. My water products, we talk about it, what I do and how I change that. And my water products were tested by a Masaru Emoto qualified, certified lab. I sent them my products and they tested them. You see on the bottom of these photos, you see on the right side, the water structure of reverse osmosis water, which means we call it dead water. It's completely killed, completely killed. And then they took the same water and let it run with my help of my water system, which is the top photo. And it has the healthy water, hexagonal structure you can clearly see. By the way, when he shoot photos and when about hexagonal structure, they come never out the exact same. You have millions of variations. They're all different. Even from one batch of water, the pictures can be totally different. However, you always have the 6 spikes, the 6 topics, right? You always have that. So that is what quality is water. This is why I put in the first. For me, it's the most important subject of all. It's the most important subject. If your water does not have hexagonal structure, you don't need even to go on to say, oh, is it good or bad water? It's not good water. It's missing the most essential ingredients which we need. And this, of course, is not known, basically, widely spread, not known. Everybody who read his books understands exactly what I'm saying and agrees with it. And there's plenty of proofs he gave to us. Now, how I do this, you just saw the image of the reverse osmosis water, and the water, the same water, what it looks like a minute later with my products. I developed a technology based on quantum physics. Everything what I do is based on quantum physics. And the way I do it is everything is frequency in this universe. Everything is frequency. Now, I give you an example here about nullifying. You see, let's say in the water is a bad frequency, let's say chlorine, okay? Chlorine is bad, and chlorine has a frequency. Everything on this planet has a frequency. Every person has its own unique frequency. Every of our 3 billion cells has its own unique frequency, like a fingerprint of your fingers. So let's say chlorine in the water is a -2. We know that frequency. Now, if I add to this water the frequency, I don't add the product. I add a frequency of +2. This is math. +2 -2 is nil. Not the chlorine as a physical particle is harmful, but the frequency of fluorine. I know that this will blow the mind of a lot of people and they may get lost. Not the product, physical product is a problem, but the frequency of the problem. Every product in this world, every apple, every orange has its own unique frequency. When I give seminars, I demonstrate this to people that they have a frequency. These products have a frequency, and this frequency can be good, pro-survival, or can be bad, counter-survival. So the way we work is our water units, based on quantum physics, are quantum physics computers. They recognized thousands of bad frequencies. And in a split second, in no time, we change those frequencies, we nullify them. You call it as well in physics inversion. We inverse the frequency. Does that make sense?
It does. So are you making it so that it just, when it's zero frequency, is that what you're doing? Or is that what that means? You're making it so there's zero frequency, and is that the best?
Yeah.
Okay.
For a negative product.
Okay.
Now, let's say in the water, give you an example. In the water is vitamin C, right?
Yeah.
Our programming recognizes vitamin C and leaves it alone.
Oh, that's good.
So let's say vitamin C is a +3, right?
Yeah.
Simple. Well, we leave +3 to be +3, but we're looking for the minus. I call them minus frequencies.
The negatives. Okay.
Negatives. And every negative frequency, if we counter it with the same frequency in +2, then it's nullified. It means it has no more impact. Imagine you have a venomous snake. You pull the tooth. The venomous snake is not dangerous anymore because you pulled the dangerous part, the tooth, right?
Yeah.
So we address all negative information and we nullify them. So the chlorine, physically, you could still test in the water there's chlorine. Yes, but it has no more health impact.
Wow.
It's a hard sell for me, for people who don't understand.
Oops.
Okay. And we do this in no time, which is hard to understand again, because quantum physics knows no time, no yesterday, tomorrow, no here, no there. Quantum physics works on the smallest, we know today, smallest scale in subatomic levels, and it has no time. People say, well, no time is not possible. In my seminars, to make it easier, I said, we do this in 1 second. And they say, oh, that's fast. Yeah, actually, we do it in no time. You look at it and it's gone. It's gone. And so this is my demonstration explanation about the hexagonal structure. The hexagonal structure is the most important, to my opinion. And I accept every discussion if people have read these 2 booklets from Masaru Emoto, because then you have the basic understanding, much more intense, deeper than what I'm just doing here, of course, right?
Yeah.
Okay, which brings us to the next parameter 2 of healthy water. I said free of negative information. Healthy water is free of negative information. Now, that's a subject which goes a bit parallel to the things I just explained. Negative information. What is that? Well, again, every product has an information, a frequency. You go to a supermarket, right? And the lady takes the product and she scans it. She scans it in her computer, and the computer automatically brings up the price and what it is. How can the computer do that? Because the barcode is information. The barcode is simple, straight information. Now, it may get into a problem if that barcode has frequencies which are not positive for the food they're attached to. You have an apple. On the apple is a sticker. On the sticker is a barcode. Who tells you that the frequency of that barcode does not interfere with the frequency of the apple? Nobody tells you. Nobody asks this question. Okay. So negative information, free of negative information, means that you are eliminating the negative information. How can you eliminate negative information? Well, I just explained we do it. I give you here an example from Dr. Masaru Emoto from his book. Masaru Emoto made a photo of water, and before he made the photo, he spoke the word love and gratitude. And immediately that water turned into a hexagonal structure. Because words have a frequency. Music has frequency. Images, pictures have frequencies. When I give seminars, I let people look in my screen I'm projecting, and their images, positive and negative ones. And with muscle testing, I show people how just looking at the image influences your mind and your body.
Wow,
You look
interesting.
you look at the image of a gun, and the mind of the person goes down, which I prove to them on the spot. And as the mind goes down, your body goes down. So now he see here love and gratitude, wonderful crystal. Then he speaks the word Satan. He just speaks the word Satan, and this beautiful crystal you saw there on top is immediately destroyed. The word just speaking Satan is enough to destroy the water. Then if you take an image, that image can change as well what you just had. Here is playing to water Mozart music, classical Austrian. Then playing to the same water heavy metal music. The heavy metal music destroys the water. Now I cross a book which I want to share with you. And that book is called The Mozart Effect, Tapping the Power of Music to Heal the Body, Strengthen the Mind and Unlock the Creative Spirit. This doctor was fighting cancer, and he basically states, he claims that he healed himself from cancer through Mozart music, listening over and over and over again to Mozart music. And we know the effect of words. We know the effect of music. We know the effect of images. So I have a deal with my children that they cannot curse, and I'm trying to stay away from it. And they're not allowed to say, I hate blah, 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 or I hate this music, or I hate this food. Hate is one of the strongest words in our universe. Hate is so strong that it kills, again, the entire structure of water. So in my seminar, I demonstrate those things live to the people so that they really see it, how it affects your life and your body and your health and the water. And so, again, the way I do it is, of course, we nullify these frequencies. So if I have now water which was spoiled by heavy metal music, and this music has a frequency, bad one of -2, I keep that example just to keep it simple. So if I program in now +2 in this water, this frequency, the bad frequency, will go away. Again, it's not the physical product which is the problem, the frequency of this problem. Because you see now, when he spoke the word hate or Satan, the water was killed, which is a proof by itself that it's the frequency which changes. And I'll make tests where I have healthy water, and I take a piece of paper and I write on it hate, and then I just the piece of paper to the water. And we all know water cannot read, right? So it's not the reading of the water, the word, it's the frequency. The word hate has a frequency, and that frequency is stronger than the positive area around unless you nullify it. So again, my technology, those things with our water product. Okay? You think we covered it?
Yeah, and it could be the reason why they have stuff on the news like showing bombs going off, people getting shot, all these negative things on the news. So you're constantly watching that if you are watching news. I don't watch it, but causing you to get sick, causing like a fight or flight in your body, social media, you're seeing all these different pictures of what Norbert's talking about. And causing your body to get sick, from stress.
Yes.
So yeah, besides the water.
And of course, what happens is a fear, any type of fear, anxiety brings down your immune system
Yeah.
immediately. Okay. Okay, good. So we covered the first part, which was hexagonal structure. Part 2, we covered bad frequencies. Now
Yep.
we come to part 3, rich in minerals. We expect healthy water to be rich in minerals, which we guess we can say that most of our water is lacking healthy, good minerals, right?
Hmm.
And we talked about this a lot. If people would like to look at our first show we did about reverse osmosis water, I don't go deep here into reverse osmosis water, which for me is the devil. It's the worst water you can drink. And when Masaramoto Lab tested my product, they tested it against reverse osmosis water. And I said, oh, just take normal tap water. He said, no, 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 no. We take reverse osmosis water because if you can compensate reverse osmosis water, you can't have anything better than that because it's the worst water we drink. And this worst water is promoted big time everywhere. If you go to stores and turn the labels, it says reverse osmosis water, or it says, what's the other word? There's another expression they use, reverse osmosis water, purified water. Yeah. And of course, it sounds purified. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I drink only purified water. Crap. There's two ways to be deceived. One is to believe what is not true, and one is not to believe what is true. Okay. We have too much there. to believe what is not true. So we come now to minerals. In minerals, like the people who sell reverse osmosis, where there's no minerals in at all, there's nothing in at all, then they tell you, okay, go to a health food store, buy some minerals and throw them into the water, and then you're fine. Which minerals do you know you have to put in the water, which are the correct ones, in which capacity, volume, and so on, right? It's like me saying, eat McDonald's every day and then go to a health food store and get some vitamins and you're fine, you're fine. That's sick. That's truly sick. Now, what I have done to compensate the problem, my work was over the last 15 years to find these odds and see what can be done to compensate, to give people the tools to survive in a healthier mode, in a more happy mode. All right. So now with minerals, you say, well, there's no minerals in the water I'm having here now. Okay. They're stripped or lost or not so much as I need, the right ones we need. So you may know that in Europe, we have loads of, well, loads, but many, what we call true healthy spas with true healthy spa waters, which of course, my team, we analyzed these waters and we analyzed the minerals in this water. Now, as I pointed out several times now, everything in this world has a frequency. So if we analyze the frequencies, if we analyze healthy water, the minerals in healthy water, we can analyze from every mineral its frequency. Once you have technique, you can do that. That's not a miracle, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of thinking and hard work and computer programming and development years, but we can do that. So we said one day we have to program the healthy minerals into our water products. So instead of inversing it, plus minus 2, like I showed you before, we said, okay, so we program the frequency +2 in our water product. I mean, many more, just one example, right? We know which are the healthy minerals because we find them in true healthy spring water, spa waters, mainly in Europe. We did that, living there and having access left and right to the places. So we program in the frequency of minerals, not of one, but of many. So what does that do? What it does do is it gives you in the water the frequency you need for minerals. Now, if you would take the water sample and you would look physically for minerals, you wouldn't find them because we program the frequency. We don't need the physical product. Every product has a frequency. If it's bad, we nullify the frequency. If it's good, we need it, we program it in. It's like writing a computer program. You program in what you need to see and what you need to do. Does it make sense?
It does. Definitely does. So anything with the negative frequencies, you guys are taking out anything with the positive, then you leave it? Is that what it is?
Of course. We
Okay.
don't have positive frequencies. That would be contradictory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I said, if we do the same thing with food, it's another topic for another day, right? We can nullify bad frequencies in food and beverages. You have a small unit you put in your kitchen, you come home from shopping, boom, the negative frequencies are nullified, right? So we do this in various areas of our life. The same with cell phones, cell phone protection, electromagnetic radiation. If you're up to it, we do a show about electromagnetic radiation, cell phones, and so on, right? So that was then the next step in my importance of parameters of, that was parameter 3. It's minerals. We program the minerals in which your water doesn't have. Now, the next point on my list of healthy parameters is pH. Okay. pH is the next parameter. And A quick rundown on pH. A lot of people are not fully aware of it. The pH scale goes from 1 to 14 officially, though people have measured plus more on the high side. And they usually show pH, and 7 is neutral. For me, 7 is not neutral. For me, rounding 7.5 is neutral, as the blood is 7.34, and you need to balance the blood. If your blood would be 6.5 or 8.9, you would be sick or die. This is God-given. We cannot play around with God's laws. There is a reason why the blood is 7.34. So I rounded to 7.5. In the middle, you see 7.5 as neutral. Good water has 7.5, let's say between 7 and 8, to be more generous. Between 7 and 8, good water spectrum. Now, if you go to the left side, it becomes more and more acidic. If you go to the right side, it becomes more and more alkaline. All right. Now we look only at the acidic scale. So if you drink water which has 7.5 and I drink water which has 6.5, you could say, well, what the hell? It's just one number difference, right? But it's a logarithmic scale. So this one number is 10 times x. So when you drink 7.5 and I drink 6.5, my water is 10 times too acidic. If it's 5.5, 100 times too acidic, 1,000 times, 4.5, 3.5, 10,000 times too acidic, 2.5, 100,000 times too acidic, 1.5, 1 million times too acidic.
Wow.
It's a logarithmic scale. All right. On the alkaline side is the same. 8.5 is 10 times too acidic, to alkaline. 9.5 is 100 times. Now, people have this, what I call misconcept, that alkaline is healthy. No, not really. Healthy is neutral for your body. Everything which is too alkaline or too acidic, your body must work hard, fight with biochemical rundowns to balance it. And that puts the body under stress, under permanent stress, if the body has to balance it. We'll see in a second. So here we have a list. Typically, 7.5 is neutral. Now I put in red 6.5, 5.5, 4.5. Why? Because this is, for example, the typical range of reverse osmosis water. These are the numbers I've found with reverse osmosis water to be true, that they have 6.5, 5.5, 4.5, between 10 times and 1,000 times too acidic. Now, what does that mean? It means unhealthy. By the way, these numbers, 5.5, 4.5, for example, are same for coffee. Most coffees are 5.5, 4.5, too acidic, too acidic, too acidic. For me, there are three main causes for cancer. And if you want to cure cancer, I'm not a medical doctor. It's my opinion. The first one is anxiety, fear. If you're fearful, you nurture your cancer because your immune system goes down. To be scared, to be afraid of dying when you get the news, brings your immune system immediately down, which feeds cancer. The second parameter to feed cancer is sugar. You eat sugar, that's nutrition for the cancer. You feed the cancer with sugar. So when I get asked, I said, look, first thing, no more sugar. And the third thing is acidity. The more acidic you are, the more acidic drinks you drink. Of course, you have food as well, which is acidic, which is, for example, meats. This is why I tell people, if you want to do work with cancer, what I would do, I would stop all sugars. I would stop majorly meat, and I would stop all acidic drinks and beverages. You feed cancer if you live acidic. No question from my side.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and your tap water in your city is usually around 7.1 to 7.4, 7.5, somewhere in there. Uh, for 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 my city, I don't know about other places, but mostly.
Yeah, that's what I found as well. And that's okay. That's good. This is,
Hmm.
I say nowadays, when people ask me, well, we'll talk about it later, but then okay. So here I have a list I researched on my private level, uh, a big variety of typical drinks, which we all drink, most of us drink every day. And it shows you how acidic these drinks are. You can't get away with it. Except healthy water, everything else you drink, coffees, alcohol, energy drinks, and so on, are acidic. Here and this page you just saw, if you go on my website, improveyourlife.us, you go under health, info health. There is a chapter pH, and these lists are there. You can print them out. I took an extract of that list you just saw. You saw reverse osmosis water 5.1, 5.0, 4.5. You see Monster Energy drink 3.5, 10,000 times too acidic. Red Bull 3.2, 10,000 times too acidic. And you say, who's so stupid to drink something which is 100,000 times too acidic? Well, look down on the list. Everybody who drinks cola products is so stupid because these are 100,000 times too acidic. They have a pH of 2.5. And I nicer or sound better. That's my simple truth, which I worked on, developed, discovered, and again, which you have to be aware of. And I know I've been there. I went through this to leave off all these many things which you love so much. Your orange juice is 3.5, 10
Wow.
times too acidic. Orange juice is healthy, right? Yeah, it has vitamin C's, but if heroin has vitamin C, that doesn't make it better. Um, Orange juice has 10,000. So it's hard to live in our society and with your children to educate them not to drink the co-products. They may have advantages on one side, but they have on the other side. You got to be aware of it. To make it problem is half the solution. You should be aware where the problem is, and then you make your decision in life. And then people come to me and say, I don't know why I'm so sick. I lived always so well. I said, no, you did not. To be healthy is no accident, and to be sick is no accident. To be sick is a consequence of wrong attitudes, behaviors, um, of wrong things we're doing every day. And that's the consequence. It doesn't always happen overnight, the consequence. It builds up over years because the body tries to fight it back. So what do we do now with pH? Again, quantum physics. I did what I had to do. I programmed a frequency of about 7.5, 7.7 in our water products. So you have then our water products pH of 7.8. I rounded up 7.8. Now, again, if you would measure now with a typical stupid meter, the pH, these typical stupid meters we use nowadays don't measure quality. They measure quantity. So the scale you step on in the morning measures the quantity of your weight. It doesn't measure the condition of your health. The car speedometer measures the speed of the car, but not how safe the car drives. So we measure in our society quantities, but no qualities. And when you have a quantity measure device, it measures the quantity of pH in its scale, but it doesn't measure our frequency in quantum physics. The frequency we added to the water in quantum physics is not shown on your meter. Now, just the information, there are test devices out there the top one for liquids, the bottom one for solids, where you can test very easily. The one with liquids, you need 1-2 drops of water, 1-2 drops of blood, 1-2 drops of a drink, whatever, and within a split second, it shows you digitally the value of the pH. And I found this one the other day, which was a bit cheaper. The first one here is the top one is like 120, $150. And this one here down is like 50, $60, which you can very easy, if you want to find out, test these things you're interested in to test. And
Yeah, it'll tell you like TDS, total dissolved solids, pH, and temperature, if you get like a real expensive one.
yeah, sure. But for what I call for your private household,
Yeah,
these
just something like this.
are good enough, right?
It's going to tell you temperature and pH, basically, right?
Yeah, it tells you the temperature,
Yeah.
pH, you know. As you know, as a specialist, the temperature is important when you measure pH. Good. So that was number 4, pH. Now we come to the next topic of healthy water, which is number 5, high electrical charge. Now, most people don't understand that water has an electrical charge. The electrical charge of water can be, again, tested and measured, okay? And there is a meter as well to test this from the same company where we just had the other measurements. I'll show you here. Okay, that's the product in which you can test the electrical charge of your water. So every liquid we drink and every food we eat has a certain PR, which stands for redox potential. The official wording is oxidation reduction potential, shorted for redox potential. Every product has a certain value in electricity, which is measured in millivolts. The lower it is, food or water, the more it binds harmful free radicals. Conversely, the RAP is high, it means it binds little free radicals and causes harmful oxidation in your body. This can cause accelerate energy loss, inflammation, ulcers, cancer. Good, really good organic or original energetic spring water has a redox potential of 100 to 200 millivolts, which you can measure. Now, our products, we compensate a bit, which means when you use our water products, we deliver an additional reduction of 40 millivolts. So we reduce whatever value your water has, we reduce it for another 40 millivolts. So the lower the RP is, the body is more strengthened and protected. And on the other side, if it's not low, your body has to draw electrons from your own substance to capture the harmful free radicals. So your body is weakened and defenseless. And to avoid that, you should try to have as high of a redox potential as possible. Means the value is low where you go with, okay? Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. And this is an area which I don't really learn about too much, so it's good for me to learn. I don't really we don't test for that in I'm
Well,
sure maybe some companies do, but we don't test for that.
yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple. Knowing that the redox potential got to be as low as possible. And that's all you have to know. It has to be as low as possible. You can measure your water with the device I just shown you. You can measure the water and you know how low or high your redox potential is. And we
Perfect.
we give you another 40, and improve it with our system as we programmed it in. Which brings us to the parameter number 6. The parameter number 6 we're talking about is, of course, maximum clean water, which is a different subject again, maximum clean water. Nowadays, we say nowadays, yeah, I know, because, we talk about things which a few years ago was not an issue. Nowadays, we talk about the high level of microplastics in our food, water, air, soil, in our body. It's crazy. I mean, we will turn into monsters if we keep going what we're doing, is because it ends up in the brain, of course, as well. Okay. And there are other issues. There was this company, I don't say the name, a big American chain of health food stores. They had their own water bottles, their own brand, and they found so much arsenic in their water that they had to withdraw all water bottles from all stores, many 50, 100 stores, 200, 500 stores in America,
Wow.
to withdraw it because they found that they had these high amounts of arsenic in the water, which you would never expect to, right? But we have arsenic basically in water across America,
Yeah.
not only in their bottled water. And
Yep.
that said, the big issue now is the microplastics. And I didn't like when the other day the government, they stopped these alternative plastic straws because they said the paper straws you cannot really use, so it's nonsense. We go back to the plastic straws. I think that was one of the most ridiculous acts to make the world worse. Instead of saying, let's modify the paper straws that we can use them and they don't melt while sitting in the drink, right? Let's find a material, let's find a way to do it. And you can do it with other materials, which are natural.
And
And
they're
nobody,
probably melting because they're so acidic.
yeah, that's the point. That's the point. So here is something which is very, very hard for me to explain. I'm fully aware of that. Fully aware of that. So we have microplastic in the water. We're talking about water. That's a difficult one. And it takes a big leap to follow me here. We looked into this. The problem is that the human body has never been confronted with microplastics over 200,000 years. And the human body has no mechanism to fight it back, to work with it, to deal with it. So we wrote a program, again, +2. We programmed our water products that the water products, so to speak, help your body to flush out these microplastics. I say clearly, we help to be supportive to flush it out. And this included a very deep program because we had to teach the body to recognize the plastics. You have to recognize the plastics and then to flush them out. So that's not an easy target, not an easy project, but we do this as well.
Wow. Interesting.
Which brings us now to our next topic, number 7, water descaling. Now, the water descaling is not a huge thing because you don't really change the water quality as such. You have an area where there is a lot. When it rains, the water comes down, right? And it collects the materials which then come up in your water and they spoil the water pipelines and your household applications, the appliances you have, um, containers, and the product sits there. It just sits there and eventually kills the pipes and can kill the household appliances. Now, the lime where you have a rich lime percentage in the soil, your water in your area will have more limes than others. But you cannot stop that. That's just the way it works, that the water collects the lime, right? Now, what some people do, they try to decalcify the electric appliances and they buy transformers to transform the electricity in those pipes from 117 down to 12 volts, or they do it via magnets, with magnets or electricity. Now, lime as such is a natural product and the body flushes it out. If you drink lime products, the body just flushes it out. What we do, we descaling it. We write a program that recognizes the lime and it dissolves it. Then at the moment you have more lime in the water than before, but it cleans out the water pipes and it keeps the appliances clean. And it avoids that new lime will build and stuck. So naturally, you drink the lime and you flush it out. Your body doesn't need it. You flush it out, but it's not harmful. What I consider harmful, perhaps, when you try to descale water with electricity or with magnets, the lime has a normal polarity, and that polarity changes if you change with electricity or magnets. And the consequences of that is not clear. I cannot say is more unhealthy or not, but changing the natural polarity, the body gets confronted with a polarity which is not natural anymore, which is killed. The body, in my opinion, can flush out the natural lime with its natural polarity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So if it's coming with a different polarity, then it might not be recognizing it as lime. Might be recognizing it as something else, even though it is lime, right?
Yes. Genau.
Yeah,
Very good phrase. Thank you. I need you. Very good. Well done. Right?
no worries.
Good. So these were now the 7 parameters. What is healthy water? Okay, the descaling at the end, it's not really a water issue, but okay, I added it on. So then let's look at the next topic. It's water and health conditions. We have what I call emergency programs. You have an emergency program, fever. Fever is not, for me, an illness. It's an emergency program. The body gives you a signal, something is going on here, I'm fighting. Pain is an emergency program. The body shows you, look, there's something wrong here in your hand, you have pain, right? Sleep is an emergency program. I know you and I we talked about this. If you don't get enough sleep, the body will pull into sleep against your free will. You told me once a story about the army, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
you?
like, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was talking about basic training where people would just be falling asleep and even though like the drill sergeant's gonna smoke you if you fall asleep, like you just can't help it. That he's talking to you. People left and right are falling asleep,
Yeah.
and they're getting in trouble. So yeah, I think that was probably
But
what it was.
they didn't want to fall asleep, right?
No, you're
No.
fighting it as much as you can, but you just can't help it. You just
Good.
start falling asleep because you're so exhausted. Yeah,
That's the power of the body. The body has emergency programs. The body says, if you don't sleep now, you become very sick. You're going to just worn out. Okay. These are emergency program. Hunger is an emergency program. It tells you got to eat now to survive. And there are many more, but the last one here on the list is then thirst. Thirst is an emergency program. The body tells you you got to drink now. If you don't drink now, you're going to die. It sounds dramatic, but that's what it is.
yeah, sure.
Okay. So thirst is an emergency program. In America, I found something very extreme, more extreme than in other countries in the world so far. American like to drink ice cold water, ice cold lemonade. Everything has to be ice cold in the summer when it's hot out there. Now, ice cold means it has typically 42 degrees Fahrenheit or 6 degrees Celsius. Your body temperature is supposed to have 98.6 Fahrenheit. So between 42 degree you drink and 98 Fahrenheit your body is working on. This is a criminal act against your body. You're sabotaging your body. All the basic body functions God has created are based on a body temperature of 98.6. That's no accident. God doesn't create accidents.
No,
You need that body temperature for all your organs to work properly. And if you don't have that body temperature, you have bad functions. And the high energy water with the right temperature causes the cells to burn the metabolic products cleanly and purify them accordingly. But you don't do that. Now, the health issue by drinking cold stuff all the time. I spend a lot of my time in China. In China, in the hottest summer, nobody drank cold water. They would look at you and say, "What's wrong with you?" They drink moderate temperature, room temperature water, or even hot water, but never cold water because it harms your body. And if you have a friend, you're a singer, right? You're a rocker, right?
Yeah, I was a rap star, or not rap star, but like a rapper, rap star. I was a rapper. Yeah, I used to do. I kind of stopped. I put music on hold because I'm doing so many podcasts now. It's too hard to keep up.
So um, a good singer, and if you take now classical opera singer, he would never drink cold drinks. He knows he would kill his vocal cords
Mm.
and body functions. Okay. So when you now drink this cold water, your body has to work hard to bring the temperature up again in your stomach with all this cold water to compensate. And that doesn't sound healthy, right?
No. Does it help though? Like if you're trying to the fly mind, uh, if it's let's say because it's actually burning calories to try to to make the water go back to temperature, right? So
You
if
think
you
you're going to lose weight?
yeah, does that make sense? I don't know. That's what people say. I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably put us together on that too.
that's a typical justification for somebody who doesn't want to stop it. Um,
I've been drinking. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been drinking room temperature water for a while now. I used to drink ice water all the time. I used to always fill up my. I used to always drink it, but yeah, I'm learning a lot from the stuff that when you're talking, to me, the shows that we've been doing.
Thank you. I'm happy. So water has a big effect on your body. We talked about this. Um, it gives you a healthier skin, the right water. The skin reflects a lot of your health condition. Fine lines and wrinkles you reduce. We talk about the fountain of youth, which means water is the fountain of youth. And the right water detoxes. Why? Because it can bind toxic material in your body. And when your cells have done their job, you gave them water, they created energy, and then the water, they will collect, they bind the leftovers particles of the process of creating energy, the detox parts, the toxic material, and flushes it out. Okay, so the right water helps you to detox. And I can't do such a show without talking about the medical doctors, because what I just explained today, the majority of medical doctors don't understand and don't know. My personal opinion and experience is, and talking to many people over the years, that 95% of all medical doctors are a disgrace. They cannot think holistic and have no idea about water, electromagnetic radiation, basic of dentistry, nutrition, no idea. 3% of the medical doctor I judge as good, and 2% of the medical doctors are fantastic. And I had the privilege to meet and work, and still do, with a lot of these doctors who are good and fantastic. And what differentiates most of them, which I found in my conversation, is that they're looking always for truth, for new information. And they left university and said, okay, now I got to learn what life is all about. And most of them, in personal meetings under face-to-face, they confirm that they were trained to prescribe pharmaceutical products. And when doctors find their way to my seminars, which some do, and I work with some doctors who sell as well my products in their practice, they always tell me, why were we never taught those things you explain in the seminars on university? They don't get it. But then they get it. So what does it do when you do bad water? Bad water puts you in a sympathetic nerve system situation, fight and fly. And this we want to avoid. But we want to live in a parasympathetic nervous system situation, which is more healthy. And I'll just give you the crash here. The more you drink bad water, the more you harm totally your body and all body functions. And as well, you have to detox. And I go crazy when I see advertisings for products, promotion, detox in 7 days. It makes me feel strange, because you cannot, to my opinion, detox in 7 days, and it's dangerous to detox fast. If you detox fast, your body, your liver, your kidneys, everything gets overwhelmed with the toxic loads which you're trying to get out of your body. I was spending a lot of my life in China, and when I left China and said never back again, it took me about a year, more than a year, to detox my body with all what I accumulated there. All right, so if you're okay with this, then we come to the last part of the show.
Yeah.
Any questions so far?
No, everything's been great. I mean, every time I have you on, I learned so much from your show, and that it helps me and assists me in my life for sure. So, so far you've been doing great. I don't really have any questions, and I've been trying to let you talk the most, because sometimes I'll talk a lot, but I think we kind of help each other out, because sometimes I think I could fill in a couple blanks, but there was a lot of stuff that you were talking about that I'm not so much familiar with. So I like this episode. You did a great job. So
Thank you, but I like you to fill in the blanks, because you're so knowledgeable, and especially in water, knowledgeable, that I love what you contribute, which I don't cover or not as well. Right, so comes the last part of my show, where I talk about how I can help people to have healthy water. I developed a product called W300. That's a blue unit, you see that? And I developed this for the entire house. Unlimited water volume. You can put this in a house with 10, 20, 50 parties, renters. You can put it on a farm. with 5,000 cattle. You can put it on a nursery with 3, and for this unit. And it comes with a 10-year warranty. And whatever I just told you, we program here, we do this, we nullify. It's all built in this product. It's a quantum physics computer with a 10-year warranty. And if tomorrow we'll find out there's a new chemical on the market, right? We can program our products from our headquarters in Germany. Our headquarters and production is in Germany still, though I live in America with my family. So we can program it, we can edit. Within 3 days, we analyze, we write the programs, we edit, and all the W300s in the world, in Africa and America and South America, it doesn't matter where they are, they're all updated from this moment on. We cover that particular chemical as well. You don't need to pay extra for this. You don't need to ship back the products. In quantum physics, I can contact every one of my product around the world at will. So I designed the W300 for the entire household. And then I got to the situation several years ago where I traveled a lot. I've been to 39 countries in total now. And I had a problem that I said, well, when I travel to those countries, I want to have healthy water as well, not only at home. So I developed the W100, which is a mobile unit. And this mobile unit can only do 1 gallon of sitting water, not flowing water, of sitting water, which is enough if you're in a hotel, if you have a water container, you travel in a car, you don't need more than that. So let me show you how these things work. So the W300, you just attach to the water pipe coming into your house. It got to sit inside the property, not out in the weather. So the water pipe which comes into your house from the city, as soon as it enters the house, often in the garage or in a basement and so on, you just attach with cable ties this blue unit onto the water pipe. You just attach it. That's all you do.
I'm installing mine today.
Good.
Yeah.
So here's a test Masuramoto Lab has done with our W300. You see the reverse osmosis water on top left, killed, destroyed water, bon appetit. And on the bottom right, you see the same water after the water ran through the water pipe, but this time our product sitting on the water pipe. You don't have to cut the water pipe. You don't have to make any holes and drills. You just attach this unit with cable ties on the water pipe. And in the moment the water passes this blue unit, you see the results before and after. They're obvious. They are gorgeous. I must tell you, one of the proudest moments of my life was when I received those photos from the Masuramoto Lab, and it showed the crystals, right? I tell you, it was one of the proudest moments of my life that we could accomplish that. This W100, it's almost like a pencil, you could call it, like a pen. It's silver, it's stainless steel. And you can put it in the water, yes, but it's enough if you touch the water container or the drink container, wherever if you just touch the container from the outside for 1 minute, you just touch the container. So you have a 2 liter container, you just touch it. When we go to a restaurant, unless we have our own water, and with us anyway, we have this unit. Drinks, water, whatever, will touch the container limit, no floating water. And here's a test from Masuramoto again. On top, the destroyed reverse osmosis water. On the bottom, the same water product touched the container in which the water was sitting. Then I had my products tested by the BISA Institute in Austria. They don't test the hexagonal structure and so on, but they test the effect on the human body. Here you see a test they've done with a person drinking regular water. Everything is blue, is degenerative, is sick, is ill, is weak. You see they tested the lung, the large intestines, the stomach, the bladder, the lymph system, the kidneys, and so on. They tested it, and everything was blue. They can test this in their technology in no time. And then they had the person drink my water, and except one small little thing, everything which was blue became green, and green is healthy, is good. That's the way to go. And here's a comparison before and after. Drinking normal standard water and drinking water which has run with the help of my products. And then at the end of the day, when they finish their tests, they give me a certificate which confirms their findings. And for information, I'm never present when they test the products. I'm never, ever present. I don't want to interfere. I don't want people to say you were there present, blah, blah. No, they're sitting in Austria, and I was in America when they did the test, and they gave me the results. And on my website, you find under BESA, BESA, you find 1,500 pages of tests from the BESA Institute of all my products. And you can read those tests. Like this was an extract now. They show you before and after. So it showed the effectiveness. I needed a proof for myself, for my own peace of mind, that I know I don't take advantage of people by selling them something which is crap. I must tell you that to my observation and findings, 95 to 98% of all water products being sold out there is just rubbish. It's just nonsense. Yeah. Or they jump around of the pH, or they jump around of parts per million and all that jazz, right? They don't talk about hexagonal structure. They don't talk about information. So people get deceived and they believe. And how can a normal consumer understand or know how to believe, whom to believe? Yeah. So I said, I want them not to believe me. I want them to have scientific tests from both Emoto and from this lab in Austria. And a lot of these things I've done here, the redox potential, in kinesiology, you can test the verification of hexagonal structure through nuclear magnetic resonance technology. These all can be tested by people if they want to. You know, they can test that. Yes, they don't need to necessarily believe me. They can test these things. All right. I'm not allowed to make any medical claim to my products, to the existing legal situation. Everybody has to find out for himself, has to think and see makes that sense, makes no sense. And don't forget that there are a lot of things where you never knew before they exist. And it's hard for me to give you a crash course. I love to give seminars. When people want me, they can book me for seminars. I come out there, I have a suitcase, will travel. A seminar plus electromagnetic radiation takes typically a day. And I make tests with the people in the room so they don't have to believe me what I'm saying. Here's one of the few last information. Here's again to remind you what we looked at today. The parameters of truly healthy water. Structure must be fine clustered there, free of negative information, rich in minerals, pH 7 to 8, high electrical charge, maximum clean, and on a side note, descaling. These were the topics we covered today too. And I want to remind you, as always, rest in peace may did not apply to them. We don't live with nature, but we live against it. There are God-given laws on this planet. And these God-given laws, you cannot ignore. They are there for a reason. God established them for the reason for us to live right and to live healthy and to live as spiritual beings and do well. But you cannot ignore them. And every time you ignore them, you pay a price. Why do I become healthy? I lived so healthy. Why do I become sick? No, you don't. And again, as a reminder, my definition of health, body and mind in harmony, keep this in mind and work as a spiritual being, do well, contribute to this world. Pay your price you owe to this world. And my website is improveyourlife.us, where you can find a lot of videos, a lot of demonstrations, a lot of information, a lot of talk shows.
This is an
Now,
awesome show, man. Once again, thank you.
now, if you allow me the very, very last thing,
Yep, go ahead.
I owe some to some people. Okay. I owe some to some people. I try to ask smart questions, but I'm not the smartest person in the world. But I ask smart questions, and I try to hook up with people like yourselves who have a mission, who have a calling, who try to improve the planet in many different ways. So here I want to give credit to very few people with whom I wouldn't have been able to do what I do. I couldn't deliver what I deliver. First of all, my co-workers and colleagues and comrades and partners who contributed as much or more than I did. And here is a short list of people who really, really helped me in life. And I must say that without them, I wouldn't be here today. The first one is this gentleman in Germany. Nobody knows really. He was a doctor who saved my life 40 years ago. And I learned from him the basics of addiction and food intolerance and food addiction, which I then transformed to other areas where we discovered that you can have what I call then 3 Ps. You can have an addiction to 3 Ps. You can have an addiction to a product, which most of us have, like drugs and like sugar and whatever. You can have an addiction to a product, to a person, or to a procedure. The next person, Royal Raymond Rife, an American guy who was the first one who discovered that illnesses have frequencies, and he developed his Rife machine, which was later confiscated by the FDA and destroyed. Of course, Nikola Tesla. You cannot work on frequencies like I do in quantum physics without studying Nikola Tesla. Unbelievable man. Max Planck, German physicist. A lot of people don't know him. They know Einstein, because Einstein was more like a showman than Max Planck. But they worked together actually. And Max Planck discovered quantum physics in the year of 2000. Oh, sorry, 1900. Sorry, 1900. And it took 18 years before they gave him the Nobel Prize in physics. Because what he discovered, quantum physics, nobody bought, nobody believed him. They all said, you're full of it. Nonsense, nonsense. They attacked him. But Max Planck, without him and discovering quantum physics, I wouldn't be here today. My product would not exist. The same counts for a German physicist, which is basically not known in America and not very known in Germany, Burkhard Heim. One of the most interesting life stories I ever studied in my lifetime. Too much to go into it now, but lots of my work is based on his findings. This man did unbelievable research and findings. And last but not least, we talked about a few times about Masaru Emoto. His findings are incorporated in my water products. And without his findings, I don't know where I would be, but I'm thankful for his work. I'm thankful for the work of all these people. Thankful for you and your time.
Thank you.
But I had to honor these people.
Yeah, understandable.
I don't want people to believe that I came up with all this by myself. No, I did not. Okay. And that's
Took a lot of research. Yeah. So I'll be like I said, I'll install it today. I have the you gave me the stick too. So like with the I don't know if you could see this. Hold on. There you go. So I would just have to stick it next to it for 1 minute, right?
touch it, touch it. Just leave it on the table.
Okay.
And as we speak on it, just leave it on the table and just make sure it touches it.
Okay.
That's all.
All
And
right.
here's a live product of this thing for the water pipe. This represents the water pipe coming from the city, right? Here's coming from the city, and here it goes into your house and your property, right? And the usually installation is 1 minute.
Okay.
And all
All
this
right.
product guaranteed for 10 years.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is an awesome episode. Yeah, so we went over a lot of things that I think it's very important for people to know, And water is something that we receive. Like I said, you could die if you don't have it in 3 days. We don't even realize that because we're so blessed in America to have supposedly clean water, right? But yeah, what a blessing. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, every time you come on, I always learn something new, and my wife always learns something new as well. So I'll be installing mine today and I'll be a test subject. So next show we do, I'll let you know. All right.
Oh, I can't recognize you next time we work together.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully I have no wrinkles.
You will look brilliant.
That's one thing. Yeah, I think I work out in the sun, all day. So I feel like hopefully this when I do this, hopefully it helps me with my wrinkles.
It will, but you're such a young guy. Don't worry about the wrinkles.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Like I always do, we always end this in prayer. So, Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you so much for this glorious time. We give all glory to you for giving all these gentlemen that he named the smarts and the intelligence to be able to come up with things like this. And also, we give all glory for Norbert and for you giving him the smarts and intelligence to come up with these products. And Lord, we appreciate everything you do for us. We ask that you protect Norbert as he does his travels and he goes to, different states and also his travels to Germany whenever he goes back there. I just ask that you keep him safe and assist him in getting closer to you, Lord. And we appreciate everything you do for us, Lord. Thank you so much for giving us a clear connection and also an awesome show. Thank you, Lord. We appreciate you. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Everybody that's listening, thank you. I always make sure you guys go to his website. We're gonna have it listed below, and also check out his products. And he has a lot of different things besides what he goes over on my show. My dog's going crazy down here. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and we love you guys and appreciate you. God bless you.